right direction.
There we go. We'll put them to you guys.
Create certainty in uncertain times, right? You know, we got to find the calm in the chaos, and you know, and people don't know where to start. And you know, like there used to be, I think people stopped asking this question, but it was either what's your rate and what's your APR, right? Well, the APR question always makes it gets Harvey nice and heated because an APR is arbitrary. So what I mean by that, if you call a lender and they charge an application fee, that's not included in their APR. So their closing costs are going to be higher, but their APR doesn't reflect that, right? So there's different, you know, there's lenders out there that hide that. And if someone is going to, you know, ask you for, we call it hostage money, like just to have a phone call with them, you need to reevaluate that conversation. And I wanted to talk about after FHA flips. I got fired up on this one. So an FHA flip is when an investor buys a house and they sell it for more than 100% of what they bought it for. So for example, it's $100,000 they bought it for and they want to turn around and sell it for $201. Okay, that's more than 100%. In that situation, if it's within 90 to 180 days, you have to get a second appraisal.
Right.
And someone asked me, like, well, who pays for it? And I'm like, okay, well, if it's not it should be the lender, no questions asked. Like, at least here, we take care of it.
We do that.
Technically, could a seller pay for it? Yes. But at the same time, when you are within us and the professionalism that we are giving you, it's not even a question. We take care of that appraisal because that's just how it is, and we need to make sure that our client has the best experience. And our agents, we're not going to make you have that phone call to reach out to the other agent so they can be like, no, you're crazy.
Well, not only that, Becky, you mentioned it. FHA, Federal Housing Administration, allows 3.5% down. Again, most of our FHA buyers are working with very little money to get into a house. Mm-hmm. They don't have extra money for that.
Yep.
More importantly, it's already reaching out to the sellers and saying, hey, my buyer's FHA. And sometimes they're uneducated. They don't understand it. So maybe it doesn't sound as good as a conventional loan. But at the end of the day, again, we're just trying to get all parties so that when they show up to the closing table, it's a win-win-win. Everyone's winning, and that's important, that everyone's winning in a transaction.
You want to feel like you got something, right? Yeah. You want to feel like, you know, even if when you're like, hey, I closed on my house, but I got this pen. Cool, great, right? Yeah. But if you can go to also, go to
away with.
I know. But you can also, as a first-time home buyer, getting these down payment assistance, and some of our buyers actually get a check at closing with the down payment assistance program. So give us a call. We'll walk you through it. And I find, and I'm sure you guys can attest to this, you have buyers I'm dealing with where we didn't deal with them the first time. They used a different lender their first time they bought a house, and now it's their second home, and they have no idea what happened the first time.
Yeah, that's not good.
Yeah, no one broke it down. The education piece, education is free. And if someone is only spending 5 minutes with you on the phone and they're not circling back, you need to just reevaluate that, or just, you know, ask the right questions. But sometimes you don't know what questions you have to ask, so we kind of answer them for you a little bit.
I might even say that mortgage bankers might be a little bit better than some of the brokers out there, just because they have an actual office that you can come in and sit down. But I'll meet you at the Tim Hortons. I'll meet you at these satellite offices that we've always done. Again, constant communication just makes for so much smoother transaction. Now, Nikki, give me a quick story here. Of course, you know, you met Emily when you were buying your house. It's exciting. There was a pandemic going on, but you were going through some other personal matters, and it's scary. And you made that extra step. Could you tell me, like, maybe a story recently where you had like a buyer and everything just fell into place? I'm putting you on the spot.
I know. Well, I do think, like, right now it's super interesting because there isn't a lot of inventory on the market. So there's people that are, you know, they're like, I would sell, but I don't know where I'm going to go, and they're looking for something specific. So I think it's even more important to, you know, even if you don't know, if you're looking casually online and you're not seeing things that you like on the market, like, reach out to an agent. Emily or I would be great. But just ask, because sometimes we have connections with people that have been, like, thinking about listing, but also are in the same situation. So I just in the fall had an experience where I was on the buy side, and the agent that I worked with was like, hey, it was great working with you. I have these, you know, people that are looking for a really specific type of home. They want, you know, some land, but they want to be close to downtown Clarkston. They like a pool.
They'd like a unicorn.
Yeah, it was like a unicorn. And, like, obviously there's, like, nothing.
But you had that.
There's nothing on the market.
You knew that.
Well, so, and I, like, she said it, and, like, a light bulb went off, and I have a really good friend who has, you know, kind of been thinking about selling, and they were, like, casually looking. So anyways, I was like, well, I kind of have someone in mind. Let me reach out, like, see what she's thinking. And sure enough, like, they, you know, it all came together. They ended up selling them their house, and then I helped them buy another home in downtown Clarkston. But it was one of those things where, like, it wasn't on the market. It was kind of specific, but also a lot of communication was involved and creative thinking, you know, but it's you're like able to make things happen that you might not have been
You
able
put
to.
it out there, right? They would do this if this would happen. So Emily, we have that a lot. I tell a lot of advice is there's a lot of families like that, and they can't even close on the new house until they have their sold. So without making their new offer contingent, because that's not going to fly, the seller's not going to wait. You can sell your house, but leave that contingent upon you finding another one. And again, the buyers that might buy your house that you want to sell, they might need a couple months anyways. Maybe they have a lease that's up in another few months. So again, it takes this professionalism to step in front of them and say, get your house on the market, get it sold. We'll leave it contingent with that last dotted line that says until you find another house.
Right. Or we also have temporary housing that we can